back. John Chuck. Today we're going to cover Kiss's second album, Hotter Than Hell. Beautiful artwork on this album. Classic cover. I think the older I get, the more I appreciate this cover for its artwork, for its Japanese influences, and what can you say about that back cover? Probably prevented me from getting the album as a child because of the controversial artwork on the cover. In fact, I think if my parents would have saw that, they would have said, "You're not listening to Kiss."
Back in the 70s, yeah, that's pretty much how it was. It was a title that scared the hell out of me, no pun. And for my parents, it would have just been Hotter Than Hell. No, you're not going to get that, you know. But I do remember seeing it on the shelves at the local Venture or Zaire or whatever the store was, and passing on that and probably buying double platinum at the time. So, you know, Hotter Than Hell, yeah, definitely one of my favorite covers. And to your point, it has a lot of the Japanese influence that was kind of wasn't necessarily planned. I think it was more the art direction and the photographer's choice to add that artwork and type stuff in.
Yeah, it was another one of Kiss's accidents, much like their makeup, that, you know, the effect they had, you know, a whole nother country joined in on the Kiss bandwagon because of the artwork in Japanese. They blew up when they saw this cover and thought that actually there were rumors that Kiss was from Japan because nobody had seen them without their makeup.
Yeah, the Shout of Hell, right? That's the Japanese lettering here. You know, in the back, you know, all four members' makeup represented on the face, and the famous LA photo shoot, you know, that we talked about, the controversial shoot, and yeah, it's a phenomenal album cover, and one of my favorites. One of my favorite albums, actually.
Yeah, you'll see many a tattoo with that logo on the back.
It's a power symbol, I think it is, and Eric Carr even had it on his drum kit in the 80s.
Yeah, sign of unity, very cool. Include all four members in the artwork. As far as the production goes, you know, again, little overreaction, I think. Kiss admits to, you know, they were upset their first album didn't take off, and so they panicked a little bit with the production of this album, trying to make it intentionally heavier, trying to shoot for a different sound. And I believe the producer was Richie
Wise and Kenny Kerner.
He admits they overdid it. He's like, you know what, we panicked for no reason. The first album was great, and just because we didn't have any patience, we over processed these songs and maybe ruined them. But you know, that's not really what it's about. For us, it's about the songs on this album and the life they've taken on throughout the career of Kiss.
Yeah, the imagery, yeah, the tunes, it definitely has more of a live feel. You know, Kiss talked about the fact that this album didn't have songs carried over from the Wicked Lester days and the day before that, you know, in terms of, you know, they had so much time to choose for that first album, you know, whereas with this album, it really was kind of, you know, they had a couple of songs left over from the original demo versions, but otherwise, they pretty much wrote this album on the road. Recorded in LA, which created its own set of complications, but you know, it's a great album. You know, only one single released, "Let Me Go Rock and Roll," which is a great tune. I love that song. Peaked at number 100 on the Billboard charts. You know, but yeah, the production is a bit murky, if you will, right? It's been widely talked about, but for me, it does have a little bit more of a live feel. And you know, those first three Kiss albums, I always enjoy the bass playing from Gene, you know, because his bass lines were always independent of the guitar riff, and kind of just add a little bit more feel and bounce to the songs. And yeah, great album.
All right.
What do you say we get into it?
Let's get to the tunes.
Let's do it.
All right, side one, song one, Got to Choose. Great classic Kiss tune. I really like this song, mostly because it reminds me of their influence that they got from the Beatles. Kiss has always made no secret that they were attempting to become a heavy metal version of the Beatles. And, you know, when I hear this song, and it makes me think of songs like Ticket to Ride, or You're Gonna Lose That Girl, where, you know, Paul will sing and then the rest of the band kind of harmonizes during the chorus. And, you know, I can really see the Beatles' influence on this tune.
That's one of Paul's favorite songs. He's said on record too. You know, I think it's a great opener. It just has that, you know, a nice buoyant feel to it, and yeah, the chorus is great. Yeah, I love Got to Choose. I think it's a great tune, great opener for the record, and Yeah, I mean, what better way to start? And they've played it a number of times. It's been one of the live, kind of go-tos throughout the years here and there. Obviously, with Coming Home and Parasite as well, and Let Me Go Rock and Roll, but great opener.
Yeah, and I also like Kiss's honesty where they come up with the influences from these songs. Like, they're not afraid to say when they borrow from something else. I believe this song, they said, was actually from a Boomerang cover of a Wilson Pickett song called 99 and a Half. We'll put a link to that in this video so you can check that out, see if you can hear the similarities. But Got to Choose, great tune.
Good stuff. Let's move on. Alright, side 1, track 2, Parasite. One of my all-time favorite Ace Frehley songs. One of 3 that he wrote for this album specifically. So he plays bass, sings background vocals. What a killer riff. Covered by a number of different bands. Ace even reworked this version with John Five on lead guitar on his Origins Volume 1 record that came out in 2016. I think this or Got to Choose could have been a great killer opener for the album. Again, just the incendiary riff, just a awesome song. I kind of wish that he sung on this album. Obviously, his confidence didn't build up to the Love Gun album for Shock Me, but what a great second choice. If you're going to have any second song on this album that's hotter than hell, it's got to be Parasite.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Parasite, it goes in the opposite direction of Got to Choose. Got to Choose with the lighter Beatles-like influence. Parasite definitely has a Black Sabbath Paranoid influence. It just hits you like, okay, if you don't like that, what about this? And you can see Kiss trying to find their identity in these first 2 songs and only their second album. And it's kind of neat seeing how the 4 members are coming together, writing together for the first time. This album, they're not using songs that some of them wrote in high school.
Right.
It's just and Parasite, Ace definitely puts his footprint on the band for the first time, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things about Ace Frehley's songs is that they always kind of had a little bit more of that rock edge to them, right? It was always a little bit harder. All of Kiss's songs, outside of a handful of them like Beth or Then She Kissed Me and stuff like that, kind of had like a little bit of a softer edge. But Ace always came through with the hard riff, the chugging, just kind of kept the strength of the core of what Kiss was all about, in his tunes that kind of balanced out the album, to your point. You had sometimes the popular versions, you had some of the Gene Simmons, kind of self declaring, master of all songs, and then you had Ace that just kept it right in the pocket, straightforward, in your face, rock and roll. Probably a lot of Stones influences behind that, and just I always felt really, Ace was kind of the center of for every Kiss album,
or the backbone.
Especially wrote on him.
Or the backbone. Oddly enough, as much criticism as he takes sometimes, is being the least focused of the group.
But the most talented, Chuck.
Maybe, yeah, definitely, not maybe.
Parasite.
Right. Parasite. Okay, side 1, track 3, Gene Simmons classic, Going Blind. Look, I'm gonna admit, I didn't get Going Blind when I was younger. In fact, for me, it was a skip. Okay,
really?
And I'm a little ashamed to say that because I love the song now. And it wasn't until I became older, and honestly, it was the unplugged version that brought this song back to me. Also, there was a really cool cover of this song on Kiss My Ass, right?
It was Kiss My Ass. It was one of the Kiss records. There was a couple of compilations that had Going Blind.
That also brought some attention to it. But that's what made me go back, dig it out, and say, you know what? That really is a good song.
You know what did it for me? The Originals album. Way back when, I remember the library, you could rent out records, and the library had the Originals. And I remember going to the library and picking that up, and that was the first time I heard the Hotter Than Hell album, because we just talked earlier about the nuances of the title and the album and the sacrilegious undertones, that prevented us from wanting to buy the record. But I remember getting the Originals and playing it, and just thinking about the melody of the song itself kind of just captured me at that point in time. I never heard Going Blind up until that point, but the Originals recording that was the one that kind of got me into the song and the album itself.
Yeah, Gene mentions, some of the influences that helped him write that song. He was into Cream and Mountain. Mountain probably inspired this album more than any other band. But no specific song, but just their sounds in general.
The cowbell.
He put
For
this
All the
together. Yeah, exactly. Going Blind, Diamond in the Rough, only gets better with age.
And being the lyrical, guy, and with your English background, the salacious, lyric, I'm 93, you're 16, and those
which was written by Paul Stanley.
Oh, is that right?
Maybe a little touch of hyperbole there. Maybe he's ripping on Gene's not knowing when to stop flirting talent that he had. Some interesting lyrics, especially this day and age, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. Going Blind.
Going Blind. Alright, moving on to the next track, the title track. Side 1, track 4, Hotter Than Hell. And let me tell you, Hotter Than Hell, I love the opening riff, maybe even more so than Parasite. Actually, honestly. It just, as far as, I'm not saying it grabs you like the opening riff of Parasite, but it's just a classic Kiss riff. That riff just fits their, if you're going to give me a trademark sound from Kiss, I might play the opening riff to Hotter Than Hell.
Yeah, Parasite comes at you though.
Yeah.
Parasite's a bit more attacking, right off the bat. But yeah, Hotter Than Hell, it does have a memorable chord.
My position of saying better, maybe not the right choice of words, not as recognizable, I guess you could say, a little more trademark. But unfortunately for me, I love the song lyrically until they get to the chorus. The chorus is just clunky, and the slowness of the hot. It just, to me, it kills what up until that point is a great song. And no wonder in Kiss Meets a Phantom of the Park they went to
song.
Rip and Destroy, because that's how ridiculous the chorus is in my
right. Yeah, I mean the title is almost perfect, right? It's the name of the album. Does have that sinister feel. The lyrics, as usual, kind of have sexual undertones and things of that nature. But for me, it's not one of my favorite Paul Stanley led tunes. Just for me, it's like it's not maybe a magic touch, poor, but I just never really was a big fan of the song. Not more just for me, it was a kind of a skip, unfortunately, for a title tune.
It was never a skip for me. I do appreciate it more than you do. I just don't like the chorus. I just think it spoils what is a great song. He admits to kind of being inspired by Freeze all right now. He says the song even follows the same storyline. It's just one of those that's so close.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it's just one of those things where you can't pinpoint exactly what it is, but the chorus, like you said, is it almost stammers in a way. It just you just can't get through it. It's nothing memorable other than the title of the song itself. The
chorus is a momentum killer in my mind. Yeah. Song 4, Hotter Than Hell.
Rock and roll!
All right, side 1, song 5, Let Me Go Rock and Roll. The only song that released as a single, co-written by both Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. It was the tour closer for the Hotter Than Hell tour that went on for about 4 months. And said tour actually ended here, just around the corner at the Omni Sports and Fitness Complex. Anyways, I love the song. It's a great tune. It's been a regular in the Kiss set list for a number of years. One of my favorite versions, though I think the song serves better live than it does in the studio, obviously on the album Alive. And there's also a bonus disc from the Psycho Circus album that had 6 live songs, of which this was one of them. And there's like an extended jam in the center. It's just really guitar heavy, just it sounded phenomenal. And I've always been a big fan of the song. It didn't really chart at all as released as a single. I think at the time there was a issue with Casablanca and Warner Brothers and the distribution channel, so the album wasn't heavily promoted. But I love the tune. And I think it was, there weren't a whole lot of Stanley Simmons co-writes, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first 3 albums had a handful, but after that they really kind of splintered off and started doing their own thing up until maybe like back when we got to the Revenge album when they did Spit and stuff like that. But anyways, what are your thoughts, Chuck?
Yeah, well, again, it's another example of a song that it was good on vinyl, but it took another life being performed live. And to me, it's a great song live to show their talents as musicians. It's all about the guitars in this song to me, and with the way Ace and Pete or Paul go back and forth. And I love how they transition during the solos in the other songs, such as The Who is one of their more popular transitions. But yeah, I love it on the album too. But it just makes me think of all those live performances, and we'll actually see if we can find that Psycho Circus performance and maybe put a link to it down.
Yeah, I think that Psycho Circus show was actually one of the places was recorded in Indiana, and the song is almost kind of like a precursor to Rock and Roll All Night.
Yes. Yes.
In a way, they're like kind of bookended. They're bookended on the live album. Just at least on side 4, and it's just it's a really cool tune. I've always enjoyed it myself. So check out that live version on the Psycho Circus CD. See if Chuck can go ahead and pull it up and drop it in as a link. And but yeah, Let Me Go Rock and Roll.
Great song. Okay, we moved to side 2, song 1, All the Way, Gene Simmons tune. Another poppy song to start out an album song, much like Got to Choose on the other side. I do like All the Way. It's not a skip for me. I think it's kind of a humorous song. Yeah. The lyrics kind of talking about a nagging girlfriend, if you will. I mean, everybody can relate to that. Yeah, I mean, at one time or another. So I do appreciate the humorous lyrics, and it's a catchy tune.
Yeah, it kind of has some of those poppier feels. We've talked about before about the influence of the Beatles, and Gene was probably influenced by the Beatles more than anybody of this band. I think Paul was always a big Zeppelin Beatles guy, and Gene, even with his new box set that just came out, I think half the songs, he said, not half, but a fair amount of songs had very Beatle-esque influences and that he could never release. But this song just has a, for a side 2 opener, it's okay. It's not a skip for me either. I do enjoy the tune. I would have loved to see more of a punch come out for side 2, just openers. I just love like kind of those openings, sides where the song just comes and grabs you right away. All the Way, it kind of has the cowbell that we talked about earlier. Influenced again by Mountain, as we talked about earlier as well. So those themes carry on throughout this record.
Yeah, great cowbell in All the Way. Maybe
not
the
enough
strongest
cowbell.
part of the song. Not enough. But yeah, song 1, side 2,
All the Way.
All the Way.
Alright, side 2, song 2, Watching You. Great tune. I love this song. I love it live. I love it on the record. Gene Simmons penned. It's just a really cool tune, kind of voyeuristic, obviously, with the title. Just a lot of really dark undertones. I remember reading during the reunion tour that they wanted to play this song live, and I think they did, but Peter had a hard time recreating the drum track. But it's got a really cool tune, and I dig it. I could have handled this as the opener and then All the Way as song 2, but yeah, what a great song.
Yeah, it definitely fits the vibe of the album title, Hotter Than Hell. And again, much like the first side, you start off with the poppy Got to Choose and then move on to Parasite. This side of the album, they followed the same formula. The lighter All the Way, and now we go to Strange Ways. And I don't like it quite as much as Parasite, but it has that same effect. And I love the turn on the lyrics, the twist on the lyrics, where they go from everybody's watching you to everybody's watching us, being the spectacle that they were on stage. Doesn't get more classic than this tune from Kiss in my mind.
Yeah, good stuff. It makes Hotter Than Hell what it is. I mean, it's these types of songs that just have us coming back.
That's right.
Watching You.
Watching You. Okay, Okay, side 2, song 3, Mainline.
Repeat me one time.
Peter Criss classic. Here's my theory about this song. All right. Paul says, Peter demanded, write me a song or I quit the band. Okay. Again, endearing himself to the group way from the start. So to me, lyrically, this is the worst song on the album. And I can't help but wonder if Paul did it intentionally, saying, okay, Peter, you want a song? We got Mainline.
Here's the
for
weakest
you.
of the bunch.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't really stand out to me. Maybe skip, maybe not skip. It depends, you know. But you know, for him, he does kind of add that rasp, and you know, by all accounts, I mean, Peter does have a good voice, right? It has to fit certain songs, and maybe on this album, I couldn't think of a different song. He does sing "Strange Ways," right?
Right.
And I think it works better on that song.
Yeah, I mean, this is more of a Rod Stewart clone, I guess you could say, showing off his vocal talent. And it's not a bad song, but to me, it's not a Kiss song. It doesn't belong on a Kiss album.
No, and same thing we were talking about earlier when I rented the originals from the library. I remember hearing this song and thinking, oh, okay, that's Peter's voice. You know,
Yeah.
He's got a song on the album too. It was interesting, and then. And it wasn't until we got to Strange Ways, like, okay, now that's a good song to sing from Peter.
Yes,
So,
yes. This song probably would have been better off on Peter's solo album.
It probably would have been the best song on Peter's solo.
Yeah, true. True. All right, Mainline.
Mainline. All right, side 2, song 4, Coming Home. Second co-write with Ace Frehley and Paul Stanley. I love this tune. Love it. Love it, love it. The chords, the lyrics, the vocals. It just, you know, my favorite version, unfortunately, is the unplugged version that opens the Kiss Unplugged album. And I just, you know, just that spirited acoustic strumming. And I mean, just, I wish that they actually played this song live more often. You know, I think it's one of those songs that, unfortunately, outside of the Unplugged album, didn't really get a lot of play during the set list. But love the tune, you know, and again, it's an Ace Frehley song, you know, go figure. Obviously I have a bias towards Ace Frehley, but great song for me. You know, it really, this and then Strange Ways really caps off a very strong side too, you know, that kind of meanders a little bit through the midsection with Mainline that we just talked about, but talk about a rebound on Coming Home.
Yeah, the Unplugged album did wonders for the Hotter Than Hell album in my mind, just like it reinvigorated Going Blind. To open the Unplugged album with this song Coming Home was so special. Like, that was such a monumental moment for the casual Kiss fan. Like, I mean, for Kiss fans like us, Kiss never went away. We were with them, you know, through their entire careers.
Through the Elder.
There were so many people who think once they took the makeup off, they were done. And so when they come out on that Unplugged, you know, performance, and they open up with Coming Home, it's like, yes, we are coming home. We are coming back to where we belong. The original 4 members, even though they didn't play on this,
Right.
you know, to open, we knew it was coming.
It was filmed in New York City.
We knew it was coming. And so just, you know, that live performance, just, you know, much better than the recording you get on this album.
And I think the recording of the song is mirrored with, you know, the challenges of all the other songs. You know, you talked about earlier the compressed, you know, nature of it all, a bit of a blocky production, you know, them wanting to sound like more live, which it did sound live, but not necessarily that way, you know, kind of Sabbatherian in nature. But, you know, this song just has a buoyancy and a good vibe feel. And, yeah, like I said, I love it. Obviously, I'm a bias towards this song. It's one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs.
Yeah, it's a great tune. I love it too.
Coming Home.
Coming Home. Alright, side 2, final song, Hotter Than Hell, Strange Ways. Another great song, written by Ace Frehley. But he refused to sing it. Peter steps in, does a great job.
Minus the 7-minute drum solo that Peter wanted to do.
Yes. Good choice not to include that 7-minute drum solo.
Right, probably would have just drowned out the whole damn thing. And Yeah, it's heavy. It's probably the heaviest, darkest, moodiest song on the album, in my opinion.
Definitely dark riff. Got the attention of many future rock and roll stars, most notably Dave Mustaine. And there's even a good story. I mentioned the Kiss My Ass tribute album earlier, where Dave Mustaine actually volunteered. They wanted to perform Strange Ways for the album. Paul and Gene didn't write Strange Ways. They didn't want to share royalties with Ace. So they said, Dave, sorry, you can't do Strange Ways. So what does Dave do? He waits until Megadeth is playing the same festival as Kiss. And when he knows they're on the same bill, he goes out there and opens with Strange Ways. Just as kind of a, hey, Gene and Paul, don't forget your roots, huh?
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's a very influential song. A number of bands have recorded or re-recorded this song, including Testament, I think, is another big fan. Alex Skolnick cites this solo as one of his major influences as a guitar player. It's cited by many as one of Ace's best solos. I think he does it in one take, in typical Ace fashion, just lets it rip. Probably closes his eyes, as you say, and just lets it go. And very, very cool tune. It's a great closer. Fits Hotter Than Hell. I mean, this song encapsulates what Hotter Than Hell, or the vision of what that would be about.
Yeah, this album, when you think about the history of this album and all the things they were going through putting this album together, maybe the album should have been called Strange Ways.
Yeah, I mean, probably, especially considering all the the controversy that they underwent when they record this in California, and just the whole scene, the 70s, that they that whole vibe, in terms of how strange it was and foreign for them to be in California.
And the photo shoot and the party and the cover, and
I guess it all comes full circle with that song.
Exactly.
Strange Ways.
Strange Ways.
Alright, that's a wrap with Final Vagrants, talking about the 1974 album Hotter Than Hell. Pretty cool collector's poster that Chuck's showing off here. Final thoughts on the album, Chuck?
Like I said, this is an album that just gets better with age. Different performances live, plus the unplugged performances, just show what a gem this truly is. So many great tunes. And, a lot of times we like to go, okay, what are your favorite tracks on the record? And for this, it's hard. It's hard to choose on this one.
Well, you got to choose.
Yeah, got to choose 3. So that being said, I would probably include Got to Choose in my top 3. Maybe the 3rd best song. Maybe 2nd, Strange Ways. And I think the reason why these Ace songs have grown on me probably is because of, we've had a chance to see Ace's solo tour recently. And when he pulls these out, he plays them so much harder and heavier than I remember hearing them. Right. They just have taken on a new life, where maybe I wouldn't have chosen Strange Ways, back then, when I was a huge Kiss fan. But now today, Strange Ways, Parasite, these songs just stand out to me. And I'm going to include them in my top 3. As much as I love Going Blind, Got to Choose between one of them, I'm going with Got to Choose. But all those songs could compete for the best songs.
What about your clunker?
My clunker, probably Mainline. Like I said, to me, it's not a good Kiss song. Not a bad song, just not a good Kiss song.
Yeah, and I think it's important, the passion that you and I have for Kiss is unwavering, right? We may be critical of certain songs, but that doesn't mean that we don't appreciate the essence and what Kiss was trying to achieve on any of those songs, that we may be a bit more critical than others. For me, top 3 obviously goes with Parasite. It's probably one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. For me, it's that song. I would have loved to have seen open the album, but Got to Choose is a great song. I love Let Me Go Rock and Roll. And I really enjoy, for me, it's kind of a toss-up too. I love Watching You and I love Coming Home, but I had to go with Coming Home as a sentimental choice because of the Unplugged album. Just create a different it resonated. Once I heard that song on acoustic, it really hit home for me. No pun intended. In terms of the song that I would skip, surprisingly, is the title track, "Hotter Than Hell." Again, every Kiss song I'm appreciative of, but that one song probably wouldn't be one of my top favorites. I readily kind of skip that song. I sometimes skip Mainline, but not all the time. But for me, it's a fun album. It's an influential album, like you mentioned, and I still play it on a regular basis. There's a handful of Kiss albums that I don't go back to, but Hotter Than Hell is one of them, and I do.
All right. So that wraps up our episode about Hotter Than Hell. Until next time, keep your turntable spinning. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, and let us know in the comments if there's any album you want us to cover. Eventually, we'll get to all the Kiss albums, but we're going to do more than just Kiss. We're open at any classic rock albums. So
let us know. We appreciate you taking the time to check us out. This is Chuck. I'm John. We're Vinyl Vagrants.
Hotter Than Hell.